Oh, got a little bit of natural light sneaking through here, so if I dive into that at any point, that is exactly what that is. Hello, wonderful people, Connor Whitmore here again with another video for you on the Nawtystep channel. Here we go, another MUERTE EP. Yes, another one. I was looking back over his discography because he does seem to be the EP man in bass music at the moment, if you know what I mean. Just put out so many of them. I think it was one in 2021, then two in 22, three in 2023, and now one in 2024 already. I mean, yeah, the EP man in dubstep, but also bass music at large, for sure. The most recent one from last October, Occult Lullaby, I know was loved and adored by many of you, and one that I enjoyed in parts here and there, not as much comparatively with other past EPs of his, but did see some good experimentation and development of his style in that collection of tunes. So yeah, just hoping for a little bit more of that as we move into this one, Grave Altar, which is a self-release, and it is 5 tunes, so no kind of label affiliation or anything like that. Maybe that means we'll get that little bit more experimentation, that little bit more branching out from him on this collection, but no better way of knowing whether that is the case than we're just getting on with it. Opening track is called Gravel in Your Heart. Let's go. Nice classical orchestral feel, opening up the EP. Oh. Ooh. That main sound, I love the resonance of it. It's got this really like robotic feel whilst rooted in something really dirty, filthy, underground feeling, you know. Mate, some fucking great sounds in this, to be fair. Some fucking good sounds. Yeah, nice dynamic between some really cool sounds, and that is making up the idea. You know, a simple layout and a backdrop with the percussion we're getting there, but the sounds are making the idea, giving it the character, giving it the personality. Doing, 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 doing. Yeah. Oof. Yeah, back in with those robotic kind of sounds. Loving that. Yeah, I mean, another, you know, pretty simple, straightforward, stumpy MUERTE kind of idea, excuse me, but lent a lot of personality through the sound usage, which again just gives it this really deep, resonant, metallic kind of clang, which is a staple of MUERTE's music, to be fair, but it goes up another level here. Got this kind of robotic tinge about it that gives it a really nice, rubbery, bouncy kind of feel that I'm a massive fan of. And there are other fantastic sounds beyond that, especially in the first drop, that give it that really gravelly feel, hence the name Gravel in Your Heart. And yeah, just continuing with those sounds into the second drop, maybe not quite as much, goes down a little bit more of an orchestral, classical avenue, again weaving in that musicality where he can, which we saw a decent amount of in Occult Lullaby, to be fair. Didn't have the most kind of organic journey and note direction about it, but still did give it quite an elevated feel for that second drop, which was a good contrast and development from the first drop. Next track is Mud in Your Veins. Like, imagine actually having mud in your veins. I mean, you wouldn't be alive, so not really worth thinking about. Wow. Wow, with that percussion, wow. Ooh. Ooh. It's another big old stomper. That is hitting hard. Ooh. Again, it's a big stomping idea with loads of nice touches, loads of good touches. Oi! I mean, the flows I think here become quite apparent when the idea isn't like, well, the main idea, the bass idea isn't like particularly, you know, hasn't got that much of a thing about it. All the touches are kind of elevating what we're getting there for that drop. But yeah, the flow just becomes really apparent because you can focus on that a lot more. Oh. Boy. Just letting that run was... Oh, those little bits are just absolutely sensational, Jeffrey. Absolutely fucking sensational, mate. Another big old stomper from MUERTE with a load of fantastic touches just dropped in, whether it's, again, individual sounds or certain snippets or motifs or little vocal touches we're getting here and there. Just a lot of little things here sparking up what is at its core just, again, quite a simple and functional layout when it comes to the idea. We got that, again, just huge booming industrial percussion, and then you've got all those jabbing sounds filling in the gaps very well. But with that, of course, as I've said earlier, just comes a fantastic flow, which we get there, and a really good dynamic between all the sounds that we're getting just ricocheting and rebounding off one another in a very impactful and powerful way. Especially loving those little at the end of some of the drop sections that we got there, some of the drop sequences. So yeah, just again, pretty much everything there is to like about MUERTE's style in terms of having the colossal production appeal and just little touches here and there, giving it a little bit of excitement over the course of the tune. But still wondering here if we're going to get like a real statement making idea or kind of drop concept across the 5 tunes. And carrying on in that vein, we have the middle tune, track number 3, Opus Regalia. More beautiful, classical, orchestral goodness. Introductions so far across the board have been really good. Really nice ways of kind of setting the scene for each particular tune. This is all you bang, 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 bang. Yeah, probably the most simple idea so far, without quite enough touches and flary bits that we've had in the 2 preceding on this EP to really like make it something like, yes, got to hear that again. That introduction I thought was particularly impressive, but for that first drop, yeah, just needed a couple more things to really properly bring it to life beyond what is, yeah, quite a straightforward idea. Kind of stop-start staccato approach. Yeah, heaviness-wise on that tune, I just feel like I've heard that approach from him too many times by now. That stop-start staccato, you know, kind of jagged and like out of place and off kilter with the note placement and stuff like that. I've heard that, well, we've heard that from him quite a lot of times by now. And you could feel that the musicality, the orchestral influence that kind of permeated the heaviness there was trying to add that bit of character, but it felt a little bit aimless, like it was just, well, he was just kind of adding notes for the sake of it, and they're not really cohering towards the general musicality and the motive and the aim of the heaviness overall, if you know what I mean. Beyond the heaviness, just sensational. Some of the most attention-grabbing and arresting sections and sequences on the whole EP so far, whether we're talking about the introduction, storytelling appeal there, really enjoyed the sounds that are being used, just had a lot of character about it in that introduction, which followed suit well into the midsection as well. It seems like with those particular sections in this song, it was several mini ideas that were stitched together very effectively before the heaviness comes in each time. So very, very good on that front. But next up we have track number 4, penultimately, Tu Me Dice. Another good introduction. Another good introduction. Love that vocal sample. Love that. The familiar Muerte layout again, that kind of staggered stop-start thing, a bit jolty, with the string-led accompanying sounds to go with it. So a little bit of a theme developing here. I mean, gotta give him his props for the orchestral stuff here, the classical stuff. This is fun. This is jubilant. I'm a fan. Another decent Muerte track, and potentially the most memorable so far on this EP, given the brass sounds, the string-led sounds that we get, which we've had, you know, in little parts here and there in the tracks that have come before this one, but they played a bigger role here, and you put the vocal sample with that, the jubilant feel of the sounds being used, putting that all together, combining it, making a nice little concoction. It's just quite a fun track, and I think one of the more upbeat and kind of chirpy Muerte tracks, because, you know, a lot of his material, as we all know, just nearly knocked that over. Yeah, many of his tunes just quite buried in the demonic vibe and the guttural vibe, but this has something a little bit more summery, a little bit more uplifting about it, and I think also the fact that it's quite short comparatively with others in this EP so far, and just in his discography overall, just makes it a snappier tune overall, and that's going to make it more memorable. The compact nature of it is just going to make it more easily kind of digestible. So yeah, a nice well trimmed cut there for the penultimate tune. But finally we have Corpse Wax with Raptorum, which is even shorter, 3 minutes 4 seconds. So yeah, let's go. Yeah, I mean, want to give him his dues. He's going in, he's going hard with this classical orchestral appeal. Really made that a staple for this EP, which is great. It's the jabbing approach again. It's just the dad, just kind of spaced out. Yeah, just isolated hits and jabs and stabs and all sorts of, you know, things that sound like that. Just this stuff is so good. This stuff is great. This gives it such a charm and a sense of story that's just been etched into this collection of music. But the heaviness, I don't know, it's just, again, I feel like I've heard that thing before from him. Oh, fat fake out. The tripling that we've got. Yeah, I mean, you know, the staccato approach, we have heard that before, but the tripling just feels and sounds especially good here, especially meaty and textured. Can't really get away from that final cut there being a bit of a microcosm for the EP overall, just saying a lot about the general project within that singular tune. And off the back of that, in rounding and wrapping up here, yeah, I'm still not sure. I mean, yes, we do get a couple of drops here, a few drops in the beginning in particular, also with track 4, Tu Me Dice, where the flavour is quite readily available in bits here and there with, again, certain string-led or brassy kind of touches instrumentally, and then vocal samples we get as well. So yeah, he has leveled up in a way with that, but the core ideas that we're getting here, again, do just have that feel a little bit for me. I've heard them before. I wouldn't say for me anyway there's like a standout statement-making idea here that is like really throwing me back. Very good dose of his sound that we're getting across this EP for sure. A very good helping of Muerte style, and if you like his production value, if you like it for the heaviness more than anything, then you're going to get a lot out of this collection of music. But I am feeling like I want something a little bit different from him going forward, because we've heard these kind of tracks just quite a lot, at least when it comes to the focal points. But in the same breath, absolutely cannot play down the ambition and the adventure and the story bound up in these tunes. which does feel like a level up on past EPs from him. Some very good musicality here and just melodic play overall in the introductions in particular, a big range within most of the introductions as well, feeling like they're kind of putting together several different mini ideas that constitute as stories in themselves. So yeah, super impressive stuff on that front, the mid sections as well. Nice bits of spice here and there, but when it comes to the foundational ideas, the core ideas we're getting there, just not that much different again from what he has put out before, with a fair bit of ambition on the other sections beyond the heaviness to kind of counter and balance that out. So yeah, gonna leave it at that, guys, for my first listen coverage of Grave Altar by MUERTE. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want more content from me each month for a small fee, you can check out my Patreon, which is in the description box. Loads and loads of stuff there each month. So yeah, if you like what I do, if you value what I do, if you want to see me keep running this channel and just help support overall, then it would be massively appreciated, you guys considering a subscribe to that. But yeah, I will see you in the next one, whatever that might be, whether on here, on the channel, on stream, on Twitch, wherever. Keep it naughty until then. Peace.